access into orbit. That means they don't have to use extra fuel to kind of change course. And that means on this launch pad behind me, very soon, if the correct licenses are obtained, a 29-metre rocket could well be jetting up into space with satellites on board. I've been finding out more. As you might imagine, getting to the most northern point in the UK is a bit of a mission in itself. First up, a flight from mainland UK, then onto one ferry, and then onto another ferry, before you reach your final destination. But its remoteness is just one of the reasons Unst Shetland could soon become something of a superhighway. That way. Once part of an RAF radar base, the land was bought by Frank Strang and his wife around 15 years ago.
Never in my wildest dreams that I think we would be building a spaceport. It's all about geography and location. And it's really, we're the most northern tip of the United Kingdom. So when we launch, we're launching over sea. We've got a clear trajectory into the orbits that we're trying to get to. And the airspace itself is very uncongested. So there's very little civilian air traffic flying overhead. So from this location here, we can get the satellites into the orbits they need to be. Also, because of our location, we're 2.5 kilometers away from human houses, for human habitats. So it's a very safe location.
This is the first of 3 launch pads, with the site hoping to get their orbital license in the next few weeks. Eventually, up to 30 rockets could be launched each year, carrying a number of small satellites, and that's attracted interest from companies across the globe.
There's so many applications from space. The biggest 2 dimensions are connectivity and Earth observation, right? We are talking lots about climate change and understanding our planet, but we are not even halfway there of understanding it properly. So we really need a live data climate model of our planet, and that's only possible with observation and monitoring from space. That is what we need these satellites for.
Less than 700 people live on Unst, and it's hoped the spaceport might bring more jobs and more people to the island.
Speaking as an islander, I'm just really keen for this project to happen, giving it everything I can to ensure that this build happens and the spaceport is operational, because for the islanders it's sort of a lifeline. The population has gone down and down and down. It's halved since 1999. And we need economic and social activity on the island to ensure its viability.
Unst is already a place of immense natural beauty and ancient heritage. This burial site was recently discovered not far from the launch pad. Few places in the world can boast Bronze Age and Space Age sitting side by side. So who would build a spaceport? Well, let's ask him. Frank Strang is with us now. You acquired this land some years ago, you and your wife, but it wasn't always the plan to turn it into a spaceport. How did that come about?
Oh my goodness. Well, to be clear, we acquired the former Air Force Base that you're staying in, and we're leasing this site here. How did we acquire it? Well, the UK government has been looking to establish itself as a foremost space economy in Europe. And it ran a competition called the UK Pathfinder launch competition about 5-6 years ago. And although we came to the party late, we threw our hat in the ring. And this site here that we're sat on with the stool here is deemed to be the optimal site for launching rockets into space.
Yes, it's described as kind of the Goldilocks position because it is just right. Just give us a bit of a view of why that is the case.
Well, as my colleague told you, so we're right on the tip. It's all about geography, maths and physics. So we're right on the tip of the United Kingdom. We're looking straight out onto the sea, so when our rockets launch, they'll be going north. So they're not actually going to be launching over land. And the physics dictate that from here we can hit the trajectories and orbits that we need without doing any dog legs, as you said earlier, and so it's more economically efficient to launch satellites from here.
Yeah, and this is big business, isn't it? Because people really want to get these small satellites into space, don't they?
Huge. So from the moment you wake up in the morning, 5 o'clock today, to the time you have your lunch, a satellite will have affected your life about 20 to 30 times, you know, just alone with your mobile phone, your GPS. We're talking via satellite technology just now. And at the moment, there's about 5,000 satellites, low Earth satellites orbiting the Earth today. depending on which consultant's report you believe or read, within the next 10 years there could be 130,000 satellites up there, and they need to get up there somehow, Laura.
Well, what's the benefit for us? Because this is a very beautiful place. It is a small community. How do you develop something like this sensitively?
Oh, very easily and very sensitively. But you need to remember that during World War II, there was an Air Force base here. During the Cold War, there was an Air Force base here, and the radar's right behind me. So there was a military population of 270 plus their families. Our workforce at the moment is 80, will rise to about 150. So there's not going to be that much difference. But we see our responsibility to the environment as very, very important. And one of the things that we're looking to do is to build an environmental and ecological space control centre, so we can use satellite technology to help save the planet. We can monitor the ice flows. Is it really melting at the pace that we think it is? We can monitor bushfires in Australia or Italy. You know, so space is what we're talking about is an integration of all those different facets.
Huge possibility.
Huge.
Frank Strand, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us. I will leave you with one thought. This is Frank's idea. He's coined a phrase, never mind astronaut, unstronaut.
Oh, Unstronaut. I love it. That's great.
I like that very, very much. And by next year, Frank tells us that as many as 130 people might be working there if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, I mean, we've had good coverage this morning, haven't we? We've had drones taken off from Orkney. We've had rockets taken off potentially from Shetland as well. Good to get out and about this morning, and the weather looked like it was okay.
Yes, and you've been sending us your pictures of perhaps